I needed to make sure it was on a proper file format.
All right.
I'm trying to find a video.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I need to change the audio source because otherwise it's not going to pick any of you up. Speakers.
That'll help.
There. Okay, you guys are being recorded now.
All right.
All right.
That would have really sucked to
we have an audio issue, and only Ozzie can be heard now. This is such an improvement.
Well, I mean, people do love the sound of my voice. Not really, but
okay.
If they really did, I'd have more followers.
Sorry.
The dry mundaneness of my voice. I guess it is a killer for a lot of people anyway. Yeah, I think I'm ready. So, okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this particular. We're calling it a podcast. It's kind of like a aftermath of the tabletop stream from Saturday. Sadly, upon recording, we found out afterwards that all the audio never recorded. So we have all the video, and since we can't have the audio back, I'm playing the video right now. And also with me right now is Ozzie Arcane.
Hello.
And Zerift.
Hello.
And
it's unfortunate that was one of the few times where no viewers showed up at all. Because if anyone had actually showed up in the chat, somebody could have said, "Hey, there's no audio."
Yeah, that could at least saved something. But oh well. So I myself, Matt, usually the recorder of these things of late. And we're going to kind of cover cliff notes on what happened to this previous episode. So that way on the 14th, I think it's the next game. Yeah, so on the 14th, we can at least have people aware of what happened despite anything missing.
Well, yeah, and obviously for your
and
list
also
of videos
upload for my channel and have at least the missing number.
Yeah, you won't just have like a blank with no explanation what happened in between.
And we won't have to explain it at the beginning next time either.
That's the other.
Because that's the other thing. Because we'll be sitting there with everybody umming.
What happened?
The thing happened with the thing and the thing.
Oh, I remembered, but I went drinking that night, and then it's just a blank.
Well, you see, Rocky Balboa fought Ivan Drago.
I will break you.
You're gonna use the force.
I will crush you. We have a very similar sounding voice. No one understands us. Anyways, Ozzie, do you want to start or should I start?
Yeah, because I was the GM, I might as well go over some things real quick. Actually, hold on, I gotta clear my throat.
Actually, the first thing I'm seeing right now is that we got money from last time, and so we completed our missions.
Yeah, we had, it started where we were trying to wrap things up from the previous adventure, which the previous adventure, I had just decided I didn't like running the pre-made adventure, so I just kind of took the adventure, crumpled it up, and threw it in the garbage. I think that's an apt description of what I did with it.
More like you took a couple middle pages here and there and went, fuck the rest of this bullshit. You write this so sloppily, and tossed it.
Yeah, I just threw the whole third act out. I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna...
Fuck it, I'm gonna wing this, and I have a better idea how to end it.
Yeah, the main plot invaded the adventure. So you basically just collected your reward. I didn't really go into too much detail about it because we were just trying to move on. And then you got a call from Fulcrum from the Rebel Alliance. You don't know who it really is because you couldn't see, because masking their identity stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that actually watched Rebels would probably be able to figure out who it was.
Oh, we forgot something. We also had to say goodbye to Mundus.
Yeah, we also kind of just yeah, we also kind of just hand waved that as well, because Ojunix is not going to be around for campaigns anymore.
Kevin, or Ojunix, as his nickname is normally, he doesn't know when he's going to be available. He's being kind of forced into working nights because his apparent place of employment can't be bothered to hire enough people to work the hours they're supposed to be working.
Well, it's more like all their employees are unreliable, that's the problem with retail. Is you get a lot of people that because they can't actually qualify for anything better, they're also just like shitty employees. Which is part of the reason they can't qualify for anything better. So you'll have like a few people that are reliable, and everyone else just doesn't do their freaking job.
Right. So we were.
The story explanation for why Mundus has left the group is because he's following information about the whereabouts of his clan. Because we just need an excuse for him to leave, basically, because he's not going to be around, and it's like.
And the assumption being, of course, that most of his clan is still together, whereas my people are apparently widespread at this point.
And I really do not like trying to role play someone else's character as the NPC. It's just something I don't like doing. I'd rather just write him out of the campaign and replace him with an actual NPC that I know how they're supposed to act.
Right.
You haven't met that replacement yet, though, because I still haven't decided who it's going to be.
All right.
Still working on it.
Like, it really depends on choices you guys make as the story progresses over the next couple sessions on like what kind of character you're going to end up with, because it's whoever joins you is going to have to be relevant to whatever faction you end up aligning with in the long run.
So I believe we saved a couple NPCs from that jungle planet.
Yeah,
we may meet them again.
Yeah, you saved Captain Harsel, Kratala, the Rhodian guy, Yav Yayar, and his little buddy. They're like the only ones left from his crew.
Little buddy.
Which means that the other survivors from that camp probably were heavily helping pilot that ship, because he didn't have a crew left.
Yeah.
Because 2 people don't make a crew.
I do believe we had some character interaction on the trip to the next place.
Yeah, we had some character interaction. Not you. Shola was trying to help Grau out with his training.
Yeah.
The only positive reaction he had is when he defended his food with a bowl against Nathan.
Yeah, and we had some pretty hysterical character interaction where Shola was being very impatient with Grau about his training. And
actually, that's gonna be sorely missed, because that was actually really good. I just poked a few random roars, and you started some decent reactions to them.
Yeah, without any explanation for what the roars actually meant. You're just reacting like you understood it.
I know I am not being impatient, but I'm not being impatient. There is no try. Just do it.
Yeah, that was probably the highlight of the stream that we lost.
One of the big parts of it, yeah.
Yeah, I would highlight another moment much bigger coming out.
I mean that's a part that would have been clip worthy if we hadn't lost the whole thing.
Yeah, that and some of the maybe some of the quick stuff before we got into the last fight of the game. But yeah.
I remember you had some conversation with Beard.
Yes, I had a conversation with Beard where Shola was talking about herself, and there was a lot of things she wanted to talk about with Beard, but like that's the thing about Beard. He's kind of become this sort of grandpa figure to Shola. But
he's the silent badass grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah, I picture him as a guy that grandpa that's in a rocking chair in front of the place, and it's like sees an intruder. He's like, "Shola, get my gun."
No, see, he'd be sitting in a rocking chair, and then like the moment somebody bursts through the door, he just do like a freaking roll out of the chair, pull his gun out, and start shooting.
Yeah.
Take some warning shots and just like
So, she talked about a lot of her anxieties that. And important thing she did mention was she talked a little more about her brother. We knew about her brother. What we didn't know is, even though he was a freedom fighter, he was extreme in his methods to liberate and free the offshoots of Arcania. Because in Arcania society, the purebloods of the species are considered the ideal perfection, and they rule over the offshoots, which are all these bunch of hybrids mixed with other species for one reason or another, and they're treated almost by slave all but name or test subjects to experiment on. And both. Go ahead.
Is somebody tapping on something?
No, but I am waving my hand around. It's probably I need to stop.
Yeah, I'm thinking that you're doing something that's causing your microphone to bobble a bit.
Yeah, it's just making it sound like somebody's like tapping their finger or something. I was sorry, but that's
I kept hearing Priggle Cats, and I was wondering why.
Okay, sorry. So, anyways, so she talked about her brother, and it's really, and the whole idea is that because of the way this society is, how they treat people, their offshoots, that her brother's become this kind of person that's a freedom fighter. Even though he's a freedom fighter, he's very benevolent in his methods to free them. So, like, say example, let's just say the old line, he kills younglings. Yeah, we'll do that.
I was gonna say more like, the guy that when he's trying to get information out of somebody, he won't hesitate to start breaking bones.
A little more excessive than that, but yeah, that's a general idea. So basically, she was pointing out he's not a good person.
Fuck the bones. Let's go over to the fingers right away.
And she also noted there was her emotional attachments for the second reason, other than not being good at a lightsaber, which changed, but were the reasons she was not allowed in Jedi Order. And I believe that was pretty much all that happened in ship, was an interaction with Grau and Chola and Beard and Chola. And I've never seen an interaction with Beard and Grau.
We don't seem to have ideas to bounce off each other, at least not as of late.
Yeah.
The only times you guys usually interact is when you're like actively doing something in the adventure, like like later in the adventure when you guys were sneaking at the same time.
Right.
But so yeah, then you got called by Fulcrum to investigate information pertaining to Count Matza to see if he was a potential ally for the Rebel Alliance, because they were questioning some of the behavior from his forces, but at the same time he's an enemy of the Empire, so they wanted to look into it. Does that make sense?
Right.
So long and short of it, we're brought to, I believe it was Tatooine.
Yeah, it was Tatooine. You met with your contact. They gave you the coordinates. We kind of just zoomed past a lot of this stuff just to keep the adventure moving, because it's often hard to, at least for me as a GM, it's hard to come up with ideas for stuff to happen as you're traveling from point A to point B. It's like I just kind of run it like in a movie where you're just bam, you're there.
Right.
So you found the cave a cave at the location that you had the coordinates for, and that was when you encountered, there were some battle droids in there waiting.
Right.
So the question becomes, how do we deal with 3 battle droids and not make enough of a ruckus that we have the entire place coming after us? To which Beard's decision was, let's grenade them. And my decision was, you grenade them, I'm going to grab the first guy in front and just toss him at his buddies. And everything succeeded.
Well, this was this is technically after you came to the decision that talking to them probably isn't the best choice.
Yeah, we very quickly decided that talking to these battle droids is probably not a good idea.
Yeah, because even if you were going to be able to negotiate with these guys, like the battle droids themselves are not going to be programmed to negotiate. They're just there to guard the door.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which means
I'll
they'll
raise
probably
my
shoot at
hand
anything.
And I'll raise my hand as the guilty one who said, maybe we should talk to him because we're here to talk to Count Mata to get him to join the Rebel Alliance.
Fuck that. Smash up droids. Prove to him who's boss.
Yeah. Yeah, so the abridged version of what happened, Beard throws a grenade, Gro picks up droid, throws it at another droid. Bunch of them like get stunned or drop their weapons or all other kinds of weird shit. Eventually, Gro rips off the head of one of them, and they all just kind of fold like cards.
Basically. Yeah,
'Cause, I mean,
the one I tossed landed on top of another one. He was struggling with the other one to get the other one's gun, and as he's doing that, I just walk up behind him and like, "You're done." Snap.
Yeah, like these droids, they're sturdier than the original battle droids from the Clone Wars, but they're still not that strong. So if you get the drop on them before they can even do anything, they're not gonna last.
Right.
Especially when they get a grenade to the face, and then they all roll shit on initiative.
The Wookiee's gonna win. The Wookiee's gonna win. Boom.
The Wookiee's always... It's always seriously bad for the enemy when the Wookiee gets a high initiative.
So and now I'm gonna explain something that is kind of out of character telling you this, but it's not gonna be relevant story wise. So I can say this now. But when you got further in the cave, you started seeing, it wasn't just cave anymore; it was a building, and I had mentioned that the tech looked really, really high tech. Basically, what I don't know if anyone would have thought of this because I don't know how many really knew a lot about like Old Republic, but basically these guys had set up their base in the remains of like an Infinite Empire lab.
Right. I figured that much, and I imagine Shola would probably cut on it because she had those books from earlier in the campaign that you got were about the ancient wars and stuff.
And like the Infinite Empire is a empire that precedes the Old Republic and the Sith Empire. It was from before that, and they more or less had control of the whole galaxy, and then everything just collapsed at some point, and nobody really knows what happened.
Right. So I have a question, Ozzie. This may be spoilerish or not. That seems to be a recurring theme, the ancient empire, like the books, the mural, and the temple. Is this going to play in some way in the campaign?
It's not like really a heavy thing, but like let's just say that the main villains are aware of the galaxy's history more so than the average person.
Right.
So then you get to the base, you get inside, and you guys did the sneaky sneak. Like that's the thing. Like Matt really likes sneaking in RPGs. I've noticed this now.
I don't know why that is a thing. I think it was because I had that one time as a thief and I never got to use him more than once.
Oh, you mean from like the Pool of Radiance thing that fell apart?
Not even that. Like I had a thief. God, this had to have been like 2008, 2007 before I met any of you. We had a D&D game on my Friday night group that lasted for like 2 sessions, I think we had it for. It was mostly just to be a filler, and things got complicated and we never continued.
I do remember Shola was also working with Gro at the time to sense and see what was where. And we discovered there were 3 rooms that had people. There's 2 behind us. Then when we first entered this hallway, in this big room, and then we went into the janitor's closet.
Yeah, that was the first thing. But I was gonna say the funny thing is though, is because it was gross. With Matt sneaking so much, it was like I remember when we played Pool of Radiance briefly. He had a rogue, and like the first place they went in, he was checking every single door for traps. and like I hadn't planned any traps for the adventure like at all.
I'm sitting here being, I'm a rogue. I need to check everything. I need to check everything. I need to check everything. If I don't, the GM's gonna make us suffer, and I'm gonna check everything. And all of a sudden, it gets to the point that Ozzy just like, I'm controlling the NPC. The NPC's just marching through everything.
Yeah, because I had a bunch of rooms that were basically just empty because I had recreated a map from like the video game, and I didn't really put anything in to make up for the fact that there's no random encounters. So I just had the NPC get fed up and just start kicking doors open repeatedly. But yeah, that was the thing I kind of noticed. I was like, oh, he's good. And so yeah, you guys go in the janitor closet first, and then like you have all the warning signs that one door is like gonna be the boss room, and you're like, let's go there first.
Well, you had us curious, you know.
Yeah, we were curious, and I think it was we didn't know what to expect on the other side of doors, and I don't know what was going through my mind at the time, but it was pretty much, yeah, let's do it. Let's go through the door.
You got a big double door that says dangerous, ominous, enter under pain of death, and you're just like expecting the players not to go marching towards it.
Yeah, I realized I probably should have organized the dungeon differently so that like you had to go through at least one or two of the other rooms to get to there. But I didn't.
Yeah, you might have had to have created an extra room in like the middle of that hallway or something.
Well, don't get me wrong. I think you should have, but the problem is, I'm glad it went the way it did.
Yeah,
or like a guardhouse up front or something. Either way, yeah.
The thing is that like there would have been a little more build up for the encounter if you had went in like one of the other rooms first, but you didn't, so you just went straight there. So it's just kind of like shit. I didn't expect them to do that. Why do the players always do shit I didn't expect them to do?
Because it wouldn't be a role playing game if they didn't.
Guns a blazing, GM. Prepare for everything.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I gotta figure out how to make this interesting now because, I had to figure out how to like introduce everyone because then it's like, okay, well, what was it? Yeah, you guys had Claylix send his freaking
the new drone,
probe.
Oh, that's right. We got a bunch of new modifications and stuff from the Arcanian woman.
Yeah. And so Nathan got this little drone thing that he could have pilot, like kind of like for anyone that's actually seen Rebels, just think of like the little robot thingies that the Seventh Sister had, except not as evil looking. So yeah, so he hears Count Matz's name mentioned because there's people arguing in there. So of course everyone's like, "Yep, this is the place. We're going in, doing it live."
That's why, because we wanted to accomplish the mission as quickly as possible to try to convince Count Matz to join the Rebel Alliance, but we had no idea what we were in for.
No.
Yeah.
So we're like, hey, we got through without having to make a fight with everyone. Oh dear.
And as soon as we walked in, I think the first words of my mouth were, "Oh my God, Ozzie, who is that? What's that a picture of?"
Yeah, you immediately saw, like, the thing is, I don't know if you realized who it was at first before I explained, but like,
I had my suspicions.
Everybody immediately sees the token for a guy in a black outfit with a red lightsaber, and like, oh shit, oh shit just hit the fan. We don't got Kane in here to save us this time. And I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, that's Shola's brother.
Yeah, I thought it was very ironic that during that session, I had no idea this was going to happen this soon because she talked about her brother, and now we're meeting her brother. Not only does she see her brother again, but she is devastated by the fact that he's now basically Sith,
right,
as far as she knows.
And before we really go into detail about all that, the thing we got to point out, he's there, he's confronting Count Matza, a old clone trooper commando named Commander Blades, although you didn't hear his name till a little bit later, and their lightsaber wielding droid buddy.
Right, and that's right, and there was also that clone trooper we met earlier from another earlier in the campaign. It was right on the other side.
You mentioned Blades.
It Yeah, that was the same guy that you encountered the first time you encountered the droid with the lightsabers.
Right.
You didn't know his name, and I didn't have a good piece of art to use for him at the time.
Mhm.
Right.
So, yeah, then Shola, immediately tries to interact with Zalmek, her
Yeah,
brother.
Zalman, her brother, Chilla and Zalmak, Xandric. But yeah, as immediately she tries to push forward to run towards him, Kalix's character Nathan just gets in the way and tries to stop her. And
If you got too carried away, Grau would have done so too, because this is a hot mess right now, and I'm not sure we should be walking straight into this. Oh, look, more stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
you had like a little bit of a back and forth. You didn't really have much time to talk because like we can't really have a reunion in the middle of a battlefield. And then you tried to talk to Grow tried to talk to Matza, I believe.
Yeah.
Because Grow usually does a lot of the talking.
Grow, for whatever reason, does a lot of talking because no one in this group has speech. And for whatever reason, as Grow, I just roll high for his speech stuff. I don't know why.
Yeah, so you try to tell him why you're there to try and negotiate with them.
Didn't Shola say something in there as well? Or
I can't remember. I think you might have asked Matza something, but I can't remember what it was.
What his stance on the Rebel Alliance was. That's what he said. And he said, kill this.
Yeah, kill the Inquisitor if you want to prove to me that the Rebels are worthy of my time, more or less.
Which put up a moral conundrum because the Inquisitor is Shola's brother.
Yeah.
And everyone was like confused on what to do on this situation.
Grow's just kind of like, kill the Inquisitor. Don't get me wrong, I'm Sith, but I don't know. This seems kind of pointless. And then he's just like, kill them or I kill you. Okay, now no, you can fuck off.
That's the point. Is the thing where it's kind of like he kind of got the whole obviously very corrupt. You need to be able to do what needs to be done if you want to be my ally kind of mindset.
Right.
And you didn't immediately do what he wanted, so then he got pushier. And then Grow's like, okay, no, fuck you.
Wookiee temperament, nah, fuck you.
that's when a couple of the droids that were lying around revealed they weren't actually destroyed, and the three robed guard figures with the lightsaber staff things kind of came out of the floor.
Pikes.
Lightsaber pikes came out of the floor to fight you guys. And I intentionally set this up so there'd be like, if you guys, my plan, my obvious assumption was you guys weren't going to side with Count Matza. Like, I know there was the possibility you might have, but I kind of know you guys are not going to just be okay. Let's just 4-on-1 this guy and just F him up to make Matza happy. I was pretty confident you wouldn't do that.
To be fair and be brutally honest, I almost did. Shola almost she felt there's a duty to the Jedi Order to strike her brother, and she would have been in tears and she would have struck at her, but Clayla's got in the way.
And then there's also the fact you saw Matza shoot Force lightning.
Right.
And I don't know if Grow knows that much about like the Force to really understand that, but I'm sure Shola understands that's a dark side power.
Because that's part of her backstory. She was the education corps of the service corps of the Jedi Order, so she was given, because of her little drama problem, she was given insight into what the dark side of the Force is. So she has a better understanding of it. And this was under tutelage, watchful tutelage, and it was basically to make sure that she wouldn't go dark.
So basically, I had it set, like, and actually, the funny thing is, I didn't have like all the tokens. I had one droid token and one guard token off in the Fog of War area that I just copy and pasted. So technically, I could have adjusted it and put as many in as I wanted to, but I had it so there was like one guardsmen for each, sword person. So there's one to fight Shola, there's one to fight Zelmek, and there's one to fight Grow. And there's 2 droids for Beard and Nathan to deal with.
Yeah.
Nathan got effed up by that droid.
He did, but he did in the end manage to get 2 lucky shots that find it and screw the droid over.
But
Nathan with his little tight pistol, pew pew.
So here's an interesting thing that you guys wouldn't really have a reason to know normally is originally with Mundus, if Mundus was there, I was basically gonna treat him like another lightsaber wielder as far as the encounter goes, because of the fact that he just
obliterates everything with the shot.
Yeah, because of the fact that he had a really good gun, and he had stuff in his talent tree that made the gun do more damage. So like, he was hitting for like 16 damage without even having the extra damage from successes included.
Right.
So like, those guys only had 18 health. He could have technically one-shotted one of them if he successfully hit.
Yeah, I remember and this is one of the things I cried that the audio wasn't there, because it was such a good battle fight. Like, this wasn't like one-sided like some of our other battles. This was a real rough fight. Like, Grow was having a hard time, Shola was having a hard time. Zalmek couldn't hit a single thing.
Actually, I think Grow had a relatively easy time of it. He got hit maybe once and then just repeatedly beat the guy back.
Right.
Yeah.
Shola did, but she took one hit and it was really rough hit, and like half her health was gone.
It's also worth noting that Zalmek's probably going to become a regular NPC after this, but at the time, I technically didn't have a character sheet for him, so I basically just had like some made-up dice rolls to use for him. I might change his stats, because at the time I was like, well, he's going to have 3 brawn and he's got 3 skills in lightsaber, so he's got 3 yellow dice, and then he just couldn't hit anything.
Yeah.
I was just like, why? They're like, it shouldn't be this hard to hit when he's got 3 yellow dice, but he just keeps missing no matter what.
Yeah, gotta have some extra greens, also, man.
Now that I think about it, I should also note that someone who helped with creating the concept of Zalmek, and Ozzie took and did a beautiful job with it, is that it's no surprise to anyone that he's like, it's shocking to see it, but at the same time, it's like, oh, it's not that surprising that he went Inquisitor, because
he wasn't exactly left with many options.
Yeah, well, that, and it just fits his personality, because he's a very brutal person. So just doing for what he believes is right. And that's something we'll probably get in later. But in the fight, we fought the guards. Shola managed to kill hers. Grau managed to kill his.
And then Grau killed Zalmek's.
Yeah, but there was also this really cool where Shola strained herself to run by Zalmek's side, and they fought side by side for a brief moment, and Grau took the kill.
Then this Grau just comes sauntering up right alongside the other side of Zalmek and just goes, and fuck you.
Well, it's more like he walks up and goes, oh.
Well, honestly.
The only other thing that could make this more comical and more Wookiee-ish is if he could just throw the Sith blade like it was a boomerang. Just watch it go flying.
A Sith-a-rang?
and just lop off heads, yeah.
Yeah, so and I don't know if anyone noticed this from looking at the art of the guards, but they got purple robes, they got their golden lightsaber pike, and
the gold face masks.
The gold face masks. Like the way I described those to Jacob when he drew them was as like, basically give him a gold Cobra Commander faceplate.
Once a man.
Because it's like the perfect thing to like make it so they're like faceless enemies.
Right.
It kind of gives them like an intimidation factor without having an actual helmet.
Cobra! Oh god, we're dying.
I'll destroy you, Jedi Joe.
I'll get you.
Now everyone will know the name of fear.
Oh shit, we're dead.
So that fight ended.
Yeah,
And then Gro tried, climbing up to go after Matza, but they're gone. They got away. They
The
got
Wookiee
on
rage
ship
knows
and
no
left.
bounds.
and they left the two dead Transoceans.
Yeah, we don't
From
need these guys anymore. They're dead now.
Yeah, from the previous encounter.
Well, dead
in the
men tell
campaign
no
of Control.
tales, so...
Yeah.
So
So
takes the
Shola
droid on his way back out. It's just like...
and yeah, he just kicks a droid. It's like stupid droid, stupid Count Matsu. Oh no, it's like yeah. Anyways, so Shola had this, which the other crime I felt like there was this really terrifying, sad, tragic, touching moment between this conversation between Zalmek and Shola, the two siblings. After seeing each other, she had so many questions for Zalmek. One of them she asked, the first one she asked was what happened to her parents, and which Zalmek responded with, they were murdered by the nobles.
Right.
And so you can imagine Shola's day just got a whole much worse because she never knew if her parents were alive or dead, and now she knows they're dead. Sorry, I'm getting a little teary-eyed.
Yeah, and that's obviously that's obviously that it was a huge motivator for Zelmet going down the path he did, is because he actually knew that, and he
Right.
was never properly trained by like the Jedi at all, unlike
Yeah.
Shola.
I should probably explain that. Shola was taken away from her family into House Deus, who was pretty much a slave and test subject. And then when their family was being examined for to see if there was force potential in their family, they found Shola by complete accident. They kind of took her away from that life. So to this point, she kind of has this high admiration for the Jedi Order because they took her away from that brutal life. But Zalmek was not so fortunate.
Right.
So he had to watch. I imagine he watched his parents get killed, or
I didn't really decide that. I just, he knows they were killed.
right.
And basically, his story, he only finally realized he was force sensitive when he was in prison, because he basically force crushed a warden that had been like whipping on him.
Right. Right. So it's kind of a two sides of the same coin. Like, it's two sides of the same coin. One tragic figure, one happy figure. Well, for the most part, until this moment, was happy. But I like to describe it as like when a video game where this guy asked, if we switch places, would you have my life and would you have mine? Kind of situation.
Right.
Yeah. So she found out. She didn't. He did not reveal her to his superiors, because she figured out she was kind of Jedi in training.
Well, yeah,
It
the fact
was
she had a
also-
lightsaber, that kind of giveaway.
Yeah, a blue lightsaber. She also did not reveal how she survived the temple assault on Coruscant.
Right.
Which there's a reason for that, but it probably won't be revealed this session.
Yeah, and the other thing is, Zalmek, much like those guys that were on Shogunah, they work for the Empire, but they have their priorities straight. They're like, okay, these guys are a much bigger problem. Nothing else matters right now.
Right. Right. I think that Shola's like having this really emotional moment, and it doesn't help that Nathan is like, she just realized her parents are dead, her brother's stiff, she has a military and house deus after, and Nathan feels the need to shit talk her brother, and she is ticked. And
I can't
probably
even remember
will.
what he said.
It's like, oh come on, Shola, he's stiff or something like that, and she's like, she's gonna probably give him a serious talking to in the next session, like lay it all on the table.
Just
Talk.
picturing Shola giving Nathan a stone cold stunner.
Like the way I picture it, she's probably gonna be angry for the first time we've seen her like this.
Shola gives Nathan a forced tombstone.
No, like every time she yells, that everything in the room moves. Like, how can you say that? But that's for a future session on a 14.
Right.
I'll just
Yeah,
say that
so,
about
you
my
know-
brother, that the brother just everything rattles.
I can't remember if anything else happened really. He gave the party a data pad that had information on a force sensitive individual that was on Tatooine.
That's right.
Right.
And we're
Which was-
gonna,
which-
so our plan for next time is that we're gonna head back to town, get our
Yeah.
money and report it, and then go checking on the force sensitive.
And basically he had just found out about that while he was there trying to track down Count Matza, and like he obviously didn't have time to go investigate it, and he wasn't gonna have time to because it's not as important.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, there's this guy that can shoot force lightning that's amassing an army that's kind of more important than some random guy in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
So then, you realize that the guards in the barracks had already fled, and then you stumbled upon the Camino and did I pronounce that right?
The Camino, yeah.
The scientist that
Mm-hmm.
you learned was in charge of trying to reproduce the clones, and not doing so well at it.
Yep.
Right.
We found out that he has got like 5 or 6 of them in the other room that are in various defect, but they at least listen to him. So
And
we're
he
like, you know what?
also-
As protective as he's being, I'll let him slide on this one. If he does end up being trouble again, we're not going to be so lenient next time.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing was that the reason you found out that he was still there was because he was so ingrained in his work that he didn't see the warning light
The flashing red button, yeah.
Because you guys charged in, and you're like, hold it right there. And he's like, huh? Then you look at the light, and you're like, oh shit.
Looks around,
Right.
remote. Oh, smeg.
And he also revealed some important information to Beard.
To everybody, because he revealed a little bit about Matza. as
Yeah,
well.
but there was
Uh,
also important information to
Yeah.
Beard. He had a revelation.
Yeah, because he actually revealed the name of the clone trooper that was working for Matza, which was Commander Blades. And Blades was the name of a melee weapon specialist from Beard's old clone trooper squad,
Right.
which actually got a reaction out of Beard when he doesn't actually talk that much.
Mm-hmm. Also, should note that we snitched a whole bunch of broken up lightsabers, and in that science room in particular, we found like 5 or 6 extra crystals.
There was
4.
yeah,
were 4
there was
crystals.
there was 1 gold, 1 purple, 1 white, and what was the other color?
Red.
Yeah, I was
Red.
gonna say I think there was at least a red one.
Yeah.
You also the other things you learned was the reason they had that like obviously the scientist hadn't been working on that stuff himself. That was stuff other scientists were doing, but he knew what they were working on, and that was they were doing research on lightsaber crystals
Mhm.
because Count Matza doesn't like that his lightsaber turns red, so he came up with something to make it so it looks gold no matter what. Like it's basically a device that covers up the true color of the lightsaber crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
And
you
also, I
also-
believe we grabbed some plans for the lightsaber droid.
Yeah, well, you learned about how he got his skills anyhow. Was when Matza was working for the Separatists, he had a device planted inside General Grievous's body to record his combat data, so that could be used to program a droid.
Mm-hmm.
Because normally a droid, even a Magna Guard, isn't going to get that good at fighting against lightsabers because they're going to get destroyed. Grievous went through a lot more combat than any regular droid would, so that's like a lot of data to program a robot with. They
Right.
would not normally. They normally wouldn't get that skilled.
I think, yeah, and then we realized that Blades was right beside Matza.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was there earlier when you encountered him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He had his two main goons with him, basically.
Right.
The evasive droid and the annoying Sith trooper.
And I think it's kind of interesting because throughout the campaign, we build a relationship with these characters before. Like, Rao snuck up and tried to shoot one of them, and a lightsaber managed to deflect his blast.
Mm-hmm. That was our first encounter. That went swimmingly.
Yeah, you're like, oh, he's got a lightsaber. No.
Yeah.
I got Sith blade now, fucker.
He just deflected a shot with a melee weapon. I don't like the way this is looking. Because obviously Gro at that point had never seen like a lightsaber deflect a blaster bolt.
At least not anything that he shot, yeah. He's probably heard of things like that, but you never seen it actually be effective.
Yeah, because I mean the Jedi at this point have been gone for like 14 years, so
I was gonna say something close to 20 and definitely over 10.
Most people either weren't old enough to remember the stuff about the Jedi, or they've just forgotten because it's been so long.
Right. I think, well, of course, Charlotte knows because she used to be part of the Order, but not a member of the Jedi, just in the Service Corps where they put all the failed initiatives. But yeah, I think actually I was surprised if it was like that they knew what a Jedi was when it was first revealed that he was part of the Order. The second episode.
Well, I think a lot of people have heard of them and are aware that the Empire does not like any Jedi that are still alive to still be still alive.
So,
of course, you that was revealed while you were working with Az Morgan. He's just like, I don't care, I'm a criminal.
I'm just trying to make a living.
They're likely to lock me up. I don't care.
So we got the crystals revealed, and we went back to.
Basically, we left off with us leaving the scientist B, and we're heading back to our ship. Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a question for Ozzie. Is that scientist ever going to be an NPC that we'll see again?
Undecided.
Okay.
Like I was gonna say, that's a big maybe. Maybe. But all right, I guess that's gonna be it then.
Well, it would be weird. It would be weird if just some point later in the story, you guys are like in the middle of like a combat situation. You're like pinned down, and all of a sudden, scientists with a bunch of brain damaged clone troopers comes to your rescue.
And the stormtroopers just come marching through with really big forearms, bashing everything in the skull.
Yeah, basically, if you had actually fought those things, the stats for them was they basically had 6 brawn, and they were just gonna punch.
She'll probably want to
try to hit hard enough to get through the Wookiee's soak.
Well, the thing is 6 brawn is like max brawn, so there's a good chance that they probably would have lost in the long run, but they probably would have done some actual damage before you killed them.
Right.
I'm still not convinced that they can hit a Wookiee. They can
Well,
try, but they might not do
I
anything.
imagine we're going to see tougher foes in the future. So
Yeah, well,
No,
I mean, the
good
thing is, those elite guards you fought aren't even like the strongest version of those that you're likely to encounter.
gulp.
I killed him easy.
Okay, they're already fine. Run away! What? Run!
You
Oh my
run away, I
God.
become a whirling dervish.
He's got a chain gun that shoots lightsabers.
Fantastic, catch a few. Catch them with your teeth.
There was that stupid Punisher comic where he had a gun that could shoot swords.
Of course.
So-
Anyway, yeah, I guess we're done then.
That's probably where we wrap it up.
All right,
'Cause
so thanks for everybody for watching. Hope you didn't mind this video, and we'll see you all in about another week after this comes out. So stay tuned for then, and we'll see you all next time. Have a good night.
Night.
Right.